Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Variant Cast. I'm here with my co-host, the man that has never found what he's been looking for, but he's still looking. I'm here with Trent. How you doing?
Doing great. Searching the sacred timeline for what can't be found, it seems like.
Yeah, I
But
imagined it was some sort of treasure chest situation. I know you're always up there with your, red ink on a canvas like thing. X marks the spot.
yep,
See you fiddling away with that for the past 6 or 7 years. Might be time to give up.
it actually led me right here to this podcast episode. So
Look at that
let's jump into it.
serendipity at its best. We got a few things to go over. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what that is?
We're going to be talking about some Gen V finale, some spoilers, talk about what it means for the boys universe going forward, and talk about some Invincible. That season season premiere just came
Big
out.
week.
That was really good. Yep. And Loki, a couple more episodes dropped since we last talked. So
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah, if you're one of
Some really good content.
our few viewers that listen to this weekly, you may have noticed we missed a week. I was in Miami, traveling around doing some Miami stuff. But we're back here. We got a few things to catch up on. So we got a couple episodes of Loki, a couple episodes of Gen V, and obviously Invincible dropped. It was a big week. So I'm excited to get into this. So let's just do it. We got Gen V
Let's do it.
finale.
So let's talk about the episode before first.
Right.
I feel like I want to talk about like mostly like the ending
Yeah.
and
Yeah, so obviously going to be major spoilers for Gen V. Let's just do overall series thoughts real quick. How we kind of feel about the series. I loved it. I think we'll get into the ending. It's kind of hard to talk about it without talking about the ending, but just overall, I thought it was really good. There were times where I kind of wish we had different focus. It felt like the things I was like really interested in kind of got put on the back burner, and I'm guessing that's because they're plot points for the new season of The Boys, and they kind of just wanted to give us little hints of them. But
yeah.
they definitely were setting some stuff up for season 2, it felt like, as well as just kind of explored the, kind of the general theme of this was about, self-harm and mental illness. And I think they kind of just delved more into that in the last few episodes and kind of showed that it wasn't as black and white as they made it out to be at the beginning of the season. But overall, my thoughts, I would say I really liked it, and I look forward to the next one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I thought that each character had like a full arc for the season, and I really enjoyed that. And I liked how everything culminated at the end, and I felt like all around it was a great season.
Yeah, I think it was really tightly written. There wasn't a whole lot of fluff, and they were able to kind of convey what they were wanting to pretty effectively. And like about kind of last couple of episodes, there's two things that they started to show. One, how messed up Kate's life has been when you kind of break it down from how ruthlessly her parents treated her after something that was definitely not her fault. She was basically just isolated from the rest of the world and wasn't able to, do anything. She then goes to Godotkin, where she is seen as this powerful, being by the higher ups and taken advantage of there, and was made to believe that this is where she belonged, until she finds out that was all just a lie that was being perpetuated by the higher ups, and then she's kind of left with nothing, no one at all, and kind of feeling like everyone left her. And obviously she could hear everyone's thoughts, so she's hearing the things that her friends are saying about her. I think it was a pretty realistic fall from grace in terms of what we normally get in these shows.
Yeah, And yeah, the relationships between each of the characters seemed like realistic and didn't really seem far fetched at all. And towards the end, when like there's some tension in the group, like I really fully believed that. And yeah,
Yeah, I think that's definitely, it feels like a realistic kind of set of kids, even though they're all, you know, pretty serious. They have a reason to be serious,
hmm
and I think they're all handling it their own way, and it worked. There is obviously the uh, political side of it that they started, where it's like soups above humans, and that's kind of like the big thing. And at first, I wasn't really buying it. I was like, okay, but at the end of the day, like you still are 95% human. It's not like you're a
yeah,
different species. Like it's kind of just like, you know, LeBron James going out there and being like, "Oh, I could jump higher than everybody else. I'm better than you." I don't know. It's
yeah,
yeah, you're superhuman, but some of you guys really don't do much.
yeah, and yeah. So some of the characters just like yeah, like you said, don't even really do much or just like hang out, be invisible all the time.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, he finally got his comeuppance for kind of what I assume he was probably just doing a bunch of shit all the time. uh,
Yeah,
but that's Translucent's son. She
yeah,
kind of finally thinks more about her powers or focuses them, able to see his bloodstream. I thought that was pretty cool. I kind of just assumed she could do that, so I was like confused as to why she wouldn't. But I'm guessing like his skin must make it harder, so she has to really
yeah.
focus in.
Wasn't that a thing inside or in the boys where they had to like get a bomb inside translucent or
Yeah,
something?
because
Or am I
translucent
thinking
skin
of a
was like
Marvel thing?
stronger than diamond. Uh,
Yeah, so that's probably what it
so I
was.
imagine he's the same, and she was just unable to see, and yeah, ended up where it ended up. But that yeah, there's kind of like this MAGA rally going on, and you see them kind of slowly fall to it, and then you notice something. It's like, oh, the two white kids are now turning evil, because Sam is he's pissed off,
Oh
and
yeah,
Kate's like, hey, feel nothing. So he's like just an actual psychopath at this point. Well, he already was, but now he's really fucked up, and he's getting to this point, and she's also just like off the rails. They have this pretty cool effect with like the blood vessels in her eyes popping, so she has red eyes,
yeah,
contrasting with her blue eyes, obviously. And then they kind of go on a tear in the finale, release all the people from the woods, and all the kids from the woods just got on board with it, which kind of surprised me. It's like, hey, you guys are just
yeah.
being let out. But then I realized that Kate kind of was able to touch him, be like, hey, go kill some people.
Oh, I gotcha.
So that I in my head canon, that's what happened. They didn't explicitly show it because I just don't
hmm
understand why these kids that have been locked up want to just instantly try to kill. Hey, are you a soup? Yeah. Hey, are you a soup? No. Just immediately kill them. Uh,
Yeah,
Kind of just give up the one chance at freedom that you had. But I guess, you know, when you've just been locked in a cage for your whole life, you don't really know what that entails. But
yeah,
then we had the Marie stopped them, or it was Marie and the rest of the gang that wasn't evil yet. Put a stop
yeah.
to him. We find out that is it Chase's powers are killing him with the like moving the metal.
Yeah.
It's like slowly eating
hmm
away at his brain, like it is his dad. And at the end, Vought is like in this meeting room, and they're like, "Oh, we have to send one of these kids straight to the Seven." And they're kind of passing around the pages. They tell Marie, "Hey, if you stop them, you're in the Seven." She ends up saving the director dude that directed the in-universe movies. and was also teaching the class.
Oh yeah.
As well as
it kind of very vaguely looked like J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, I think it was a reference to either J.J. Abrams or Joss Whedon, because the Joss Whedon side of things obviously being like the sexual assault, and like he directed the Avengers movie, which the Seven movie kind of thing, but just like dress wise, he gives J.J. Abrams for sure.
Definitely.
And then we get to the final scene where she really can control all the dead people's blood. It all raises up. She stops them, stops all of the rogue soups. It looks really cool. And then Homelander flies in. We get a big Homelander reveal. Whole crowd going crazy in the metaphorical audience. And he just kind of looks at her and definitely feels racial, because she just looks at her and goes, what kind of animal are you?
Yeah.
Because she's killing her own kind, even though like her own kind was about to kill the Vought CEO, which like is why Homelander was sent there in the first place. So if he didn't show up, then whatever. He ends up lasering her, which you think maybe he killed her because he kind of kills everyone, but doesn't. She lives, and then wakes up in an infirmary with no doors, with all of the other soups that were on her side. I believe it was Emma. I am blanking on their name right now. The Jordan and Chase, all kind of in there, and they're just like, well, I guess we don't know where we are, and there's no windows, there's no doors, there's no way out. And then the episode ends and the season ends, and that's where they leave us.
Yep. There's a little tiny post credits.
There is. I did. That. I almost didn't. Yeah. What was that post? Good.
It was Butcher walking into what I assumed was that facility.
Yeah, I'm guessing he was walking into the woods.
Yeah. And then just saying some butcher thing, you know?
Yeah, he just walks in and says bloody oints and just dips out. So I think they're setting it up for a couple things. And because in my head I'm like, okay, why is this a cliffhanger? And I think they've said like it's gonna feed directly into the next season. Like that's how it's.
Yeah, I think they
so I think the next like boys season will start with him going through the woods, maybe looking at all the destruction at Godolkin and being like, Soup's caused all of this, and then maybe one person's like, well, not all of them, there's good ones. Maybe we get a little plot point about them breaking them out. Maybe they just did it because they weren't sure if they were going to get a second season, so you could kind of just shelf them. And hey, if we need to use them, we can. If this totally bombs, we don't care. We could not worry about it. But they have new Guardians of Godolkin, and that is Sam and Kate are the new Guardians of Godolkin. Kate gets her arm blown off, by the way, so I'm guessing she's gonna have a pretty cool like robot arm or something.
Yeah. That was brutal.
How much do you want to bet because it is just TV, they do a robot arm that they show once and then she puts a glove on it and then
100%. She'll wear a hoodie all the time.
Yeah, so
it's just the hand.
Yep. Trust me, it's a robot hand underneath this glove that looks like a completely normal hand. But yeah, that was Gen V. I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, me too.
The question though is who's in the 7 now?
Yeah, I guess that's the plot of the next season of The Boys. Because I feel like you couldn't really do that in this show, and then people who only watch The Boys, like, they're just like, oh, by the way, there's a new character in the 7.
Yeah, I mean they kind of did that with the last season. They were like, hey, here's this
that's true
new boy band guy, and then he dies. So I can see them. It makes sense that it's Sam though, right?
Yeah,
because like Kate would make sense.
Golden Boy was next in line
because like Kate would make sense because like Starlight's not there anymore. Meave isn't there anymore, so they don't have any women on the team. But like, what
Yeah.
does Kate do? Like how do they market that? That would be kind of a confusing thing, but you know. Well,
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out in just a
Yeah,
few
we'll find
few
out.
short weeks. But
Is it coming out soon? Is it coming out that
I
soon?
think it comes out at the end of November.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like this was supposed to lead into it. So I think we'll be getting some
Heck yeah.
promo here soon. So look forward to it. Amazon's been really on their stuff as of recent. I think they've been doing really well in the superhero department, just like the originals department, even though they don't have a lot. But one thing they do have is Invincible, which after a long wait, we got season 2 of Invincible, season 2, episode 1. They only gave us 49 minutes,
Yeah.
and that's it. But it was good.
But at the same time, it was a good 49
It
minutes.
was a good 49 minutes. It starts out in some alternate universe stuff, and you're pretty confused if you don't like follow it. You're like, what is happening? This isn't what I remember happening. It's revealed to be an alternate timeline, and then we kind of go through, show the real Mark, kind of show what he's been up to. They all recap their lives. It seems like the public believes that Omni-Man got exploded, but I don't think that's what happened.
No. Well, because he just flew off at the end.
Yeah,
right?
he just flew off.
After he got done beating the shit out of Mark, he just dipped off into space.
So I wonder if Mark told people that because they didn't want, like, he didn't want people to like hunt for him or something.
Yeah.
But
Or they just saw the crater. Who knows?
just made a presumption. I don't know. And there was a lot of blood, so.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah. Mark is trying to like go back to work for Cecil in the superhero agency. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know either. They have the Guardian. It's like the Guardians of the world.
The Globe.
Yeah, a lot of Guardians going on.
Yeah.
But I think the first scene of like Mark in his actual dimension, where he's just going around like saving people, and he's just like vibing through the clouds and just like floating around. That scene is so good. I love
it was really
that. Good. Just like all of the music with it. Just
you got a little car chase scene.
Car chase, it's great. It was just a great scene, and then they show the Guardians. They fight like a big giant that has the mental capacity of an 8-year-old that wants to become president, and it doesn't
be astronaut and president.
Doesn't go great. Robot gets stripped of his leadership position as he's still adjusting to having a human body, which does kind of seem like a bit of an oversight. Like, if you can control it remotely, why don't you just control it remotely? Why risk it?
Yeah.
Not really a point in doing so.
Yeah.
But they end up reinstating Immortal into the Guardians, and then kind of like feels like a nothing thing right now. But they bring in a guy named Bulletproof, who's just like another, seems like pretty strong soup into the team, and he has like a little moment with Rexplode. So maybe that's a ship thing. Maybe they're gonna end up together. Who knows? But I don't know. Actually, I know that the comics follows it fairly closely, but they deviate a little bit. And then, like I said, Immortal's the actual like leader now, and I think Mark is now in the team, or he works for. I think he's on the team now.
I think he talked to Cecil and was like, "Just, I'll do whatever you want. I'll listen to everything you say.
Yeah,
just let me be on the team."
Which ends up being his downfall, because Cecil tells him, "Hey, just blow that thing up." When he enters this, that the twins are working on this like cloning machine thing, and he's like, "Hey, just blow it up. Like, I don't care what happens. Just make sure that thing gets shut off." But it actually wasn't a bad thing that was happening. It was this multiversal dude that was just plucking variants of himself from other worlds. He just wanted to have their knowledge so that he would be able to like help other people, since he's the only one with powers. Ends up going awry, ends up trying to take his helmet off, whole thing explodes, and now he's like a mutated, grotesque brain dreadlock guy.
Yeah, tough look. That's a tough look.
It's a tough look, but and he was like the whole time he's like, "No, Mark, like Invincible, I'm good. Chill, bro. Chill. I promise."
Yeah.
And he knows who Invincible is because in his other thousands of timelines, he normally takes over the Earth. But he knows that in some of them, Mark is good and doesn't do that. So he's like, okay, I'm in one of those timelines. I'm trying to do the right thing here. Mark doesn't care because he already has his orders to shut it down. And now he's made an enemy, a really powerful enemy, for life, it seems.
Yeah. And those different variations of the twins were all super cool.
Yeah. We got a bit of that. At the end, it explodes and only one twin gets out. So you have to assume you about to get in the lab, get another one going.
Yep.
Just rinse and repeat. But all the other ones died. So those universes are without them at this point. So.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe they were just stupid universes. We don't care.
Yep.
But yeah, that's Invincible episode 1. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more to talk about as we go through. But if you're not watching Invincible or you haven't watched Invincible, for some reason, go watch it. I know a lot of people.
Go watch it.
I know a lot of people.
It's so good.
A lot of people have this weird thing about like animated stuff. Like, oh, I don't watch cartoons. Like, that's just, I just don't do that. That's for kids. Just watch it. Like, stop.
Yeah.
But for those people that only watch live action stuff, we do have some live action stuff. We have Loki. Who,
yep. Also delving into alternate timelines this episode, showing other timelines. This episode of Loki I thought was really, really good. So this episode, if you remember last time, or I guess we didn't even talk about last episode.
No.
With Victor Timely.
Yeah.
And trying to get the bearings of the time warp spaghetti machine to go bigger.
Yeah. The temporal,
to expand them.
Temporal aura, something.
Yeah.
Something or another.
So yeah, at the end of the last episode, they have to pick somebody to go try to bring the temporal aura back to. Is the temporal aura the device that they have? The temporal aura is
the temporal aura is the radiation,
the giant machine
waves getting shot at them. Like, that's temporal radiation. The aura is something that just everybody has. I don't know what the machines are called, but yeah, they're trying to like load a machine to shoot to focus it.
Yeah, but they send Victor Timely out there, who's a King variant, and he just gets absolutely obliterated.
One of the best, we get to see it more, obviously, but that effect is so good.
Yeah, it's really good. And then all of the timelines just start breaking out of the temporal aura machine, and starts going haywire.
Yeah, because I mean, it exploded, and the TVA was destroyed. Yeah. Everything was destroyed. So now all of these timelines are slowly fading from existence. Existence itself is fading currently, but Loki, because he got kicked through a time door, luckily, is able to, move and transport with that. So he was being exploded, and as he was being exploded, he goes to a different time period where it's Alcatraz, and it's that one like nerdy guy that's normally like he's I guess from Alcatraz, and he goes through
Yeah, Casey.
that he goes through all the TVA people, and he's like transporting to their like normal timeline variants, and we finally get the confirmation of Mobius being a jet ski salesman or a
Yep.
personal watercraft
Motorsports expert.
Yeah. So he's going through that, and then he gets to OB's variant, who, of course, he's still a smart dude because, he's just by nature a smart dude. And he's kind of
like a sci-fi writer.
Yeah, sci-fi writer that is putting his books on shelves, and the bookstore owner is say, hey, don't put your books on my shelves, which just seems like bad business to me. Because he's not even asking for a cut. He's just literally like, hey, unless it's smut, which he could be writing smut. Why not? Anyways, he's like asking him for help. And they come to the conclusion that you have to control your time slipping so that you're able to get to where you want to go. So he tries, he can't. He's like, okay, maybe you need the people that you were with to be there because you're like teleporting there for a reason. So he goes and he recruits all these people that have no idea what he's talking about. They're just normal ass people, and they're like, okay, I guess I guess I'll be Mobius. I kind of just worried about my boys and all that. Seems like he's a pretty neglectful father most of the time, but he is worried about his boys.
Yeah. Just always in salesman mode too.
Yeah. Loki shows up at his house, and he's just like, you know what? I'll sell you this fucking...
It's like, I never wanted to part with one of these things, but you know what? You're here, so...
Yeah, might as well. But they end up trying to do that, but right as they get everyone together and Sylvie finally comes around because she's seeing her reality get spaghettied, she's like, hey, we need to do something about this. And he's like, okay, we got everybody here. Let's do something about that. And then reality just ends right then. And that's just it. But in the blackest hour, Loki was able to control his time slipping. And it's not about when or where or why. It's about who. So I guess he's got to just like focus on who he wants to time slip to. Seems to be the answer. So he was able to time slip back to before everyone got spaghettied. And now, presumably, he's going to time slip back to the moment that Mr. Timely was spaghettied and say, no, I'm going to do it. And maybe since he's a god, he's able to. I don't know. But I think the biggest thing with this is how absurdly powerful he is now.
Yeah.
If he can control time slipping.
That's what I said. I was like, after the episode finished, I was like, is he just going to have this power now? He could just...
Well, yeah. I mean,
just
I think there has to be a new one above all. And it seems like he has a one up on Kang because like Kang needs a machine to do this. He could just
this is just all part of the plan.
Maybe it's how, but it's kind of, we can't even get to the plan thing because time is ended. Like existence is over.
That's very true.
Loki is working in what has already happened because the future doesn't exist anymore. He is a finite amount of time that he could work with. So, I mean, it'll be interesting. I did have a theory because a little bit ago I was asking why do Lokis look different, right? Mm-hmm. Why do Lokis have different appearances when all of these other people look exactly the same everywhere? Like there's no variant of someone that looks different other than Loki, and there's a whole like world of Lokis. There's a kid Loki and a crocodile Loki. Why do they look different when no one else looks different? And I think the answer is in Ragnarok, right? So Ragnarok, the whole point of it is it's a story that repeats over and over again, and there's no stopping Ragnarok, because even when they thought they stopped Ragnarok, they actually needed to have Ragnarok to happen. And like the idea of Ragnarok is that Odin dies. That's the key point of Ragnarok, is Odin needs to die.
The Nexus event.
Yeah, it's a event that Odin needs to die, and then Thor takes his place. He has one eye because of that. And, well, he had one eye before, but he has one eye, or he loses his eye in that, and he is now the new Odin. So, hypothetically, at some point, Ragnarok will happen again with Thor in place of Odin, right? So, then that comes to the next thing. Okay, how is Loki exist? Well, he was a frost giant that was just plucked and adopted by Odin. So my theory here is Loki obviously has no blood relation to Odin or Thor. He is just a frost giant in the universe that we know. But in other universes, he might be a crocodile. In other universes, he might be a woman in Sylvie's case. And all that matters is that
Odin took
Odin
from
adopted him, right? And you see where I'm going with this in Love and Thunder, that the Thor's daughter or whatever is the new Loki, because based on like that like setup of adopting a kid, and he's the Odin, and if Ragnarok's supposed to repeat, she is the Loki and doesn't know it. Just thought.
It's a good theory.
Just thought there.
No, it makes sense.
Because yeah, that's the only real thing that Lokis have to have in common, is they're brothers of Thor. So I guess there's a potential that in the universe where it's a crocodile Loki, it's also a crocodile Thor. Or it could have been a crocodile Odin, or it could have just been a normal Odin that saw a cute crocodile and was like, I want this thing. You're Loki now.
Or like a crocodile, something that Odin slayed and was like, I'm gonna take this baby crocodile,
raise it as my own for some reason. So yeah, that's my theory. And hey, we'll see if it comes true. Probably not. I think they're gonna make the kid character like their own character, but by the rules of their lore, I feel like there's a debate that it should be a Loki, and the new Thor has yet to be born in this universe, if that is a thing.
I could definitely see that happening, or seeing that connection.
Yeah, why not? I think something I'd be most excited for is this Loki meeting up with the other Avengers, which seems like it will happen now in in
There's
Secret
no way
Wars.
that it doesn't.
And that's going to be fun, not only for Thor's reaction, because this isn't the same Loki that he lost. This Loki technically dipped at the Battle of New York, so he doesn't have like all of that stuff. But yeah, overall, really good so far. But I really just am ready to see how this is all going to come to a conclusion.
Yeah, me too. And we've only got like 1 or 2 episodes left, I think.
Yeah, I mean they're wrapping it up, so I could see it coming soon. But moving on, we're gonna get into what we've been watching. I think I tasked you a couple weeks ago with watching Spontaneous. We're now into November, but this was part of our horror thriller watches. So what do you think of Spontaneous, Trent?
Starting out, I wasn't too sure about it, you know.
Yeah.
The beginning I felt like had a lot of like exposition, a lot of like stuff that I feel like it could have showed instead of just a character like explaining.
Right.
But as it went along, like about the midway mark. Like it turns into like a completely different movie, and I thought it worked really well. So spoilers for a movie that came out last year, the year before, but yeah, I think that there's a there's a scene in it where like all the characters. Let me set the stage. So there's this town, and inside the town there's this disease going around, and the disease causes them to explode. Am I
Spontaneously.
right about
Yeah.
this? Spontaneous, yeah. Spontaneous human combustion.
Yes.
So so at one point these characters have to get like isolated, and then I think they go back to school, and then there's a scene where like just like everybody in the class just starts exploding. And I think that was probably the best scene of the movie.
Yeah, no, it starts.
But
Go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say like there's a scene right before that when the main character trying to think of her name, Mara takes like Dylan to like this barn that she recreates from like his childhood. But that was a really good scene, I thought. And then from that point on, I thought that the movie was really
Yeah,
good.
I think that's the first act is definitely the weakest in that movie. And I remember when I watched it, I didn't like read anything about it. So like the first like explosion, I was like, oh, let's go.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just keeps going, and then it turns into like this actually decent movie about like, you know, a high school love story that's just like really, really fucked up. And it's kind of just interesting seeing how the senior class, because it's like all seniors that are exploding, deals with it, and just like comes to like they're having to deal with their mortality very soon, as an immature kind of 17-18-year-old. There's a lot of just like fun goofs and gaffs, and got a little spoilers there, but if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend watching it, because like even what I'm saying about them exploding, it doesn't do it justice. The actual like special effects in the movie are, you know, on par with like what you see with The Boys, which I think is pretty impressive.
Yeah. And that was another thing that I was gonna say is like the use of like blood and the way that they use it to like cut away from frame or to distract something to like stitch a scene together. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, no,
For like a low budget movie like
yeah,
that.
it's it works with its budget really well, and if you're into like high school thrillers, it's a must watch for sure.
Yeah.
But you also watched an A24 film recently. You watched Midsommar, right?
Mm-hmm.
How
Yep. I watched Midsommar for the first
how
time.
is that?
Really enjoyed it. Don't know why I hadn't watched it
Yeah.
before. Had a really good time watching it. I mean, some of the parts, you know, weren't a good time because if you've seen the movie, you know what happens. But no, I thought it was amazing. So it was just like so like photo-esque. It seemed like it was shot so beautifully, and the characters were all like super well grounded and fit really well into that story. Will Poulter's really good in it. Florence Pugh is obviously really good in it. But Florence Pugh's boyfriend, the dude who's like who's like actively just like, no, babe, this is just like foreign to us. It's not gonna like.
Bro, I remember just screaming at him, just like, what the fuck are you on, man? Leave this fool.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, it was a great movie.
Yeah, and like the final like scene and stuff, you have no idea what's happening for the majority of the movie, and you still don't know what's happening at the end of the scene, but you're like, fuck, this is really pretty. This looks so good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Wild.
I think it's definitely an experience you should watch if you're into movies. I think it's something that every like film dude has watched. So if you want to be on that level, you got to start. When I was in Miami, there's actually a costume. She was dressed up like, you know, the flowers and stuff. It was sick.
Yeah.
It was sick.
Nice.
But I think the big movies being talked about right now, in terms of box office, are FNAF and the not Miss Marvel, the Marvels.
The Marvels. Yeah.
It's being talked about as being biggest bomb in MCU history. I'm interested to see if that comes to fruition, but it's like the pre-sale tickets are like the worst ever. I think it's probably going to do better than a lot of the box office nerds are expecting. But yeah, it's looking like it might be a miss, which I think they're kind of prepped for. But I'm interested to see what kind of movie it actually ends up being, because I really haven't looked too much into it. And I'm interested to see if they do anything fresh.
Yeah. And like there was a clip that was released this week of like a fight scene in it, and it looked really fun. There was some really good dynamic camera movements, I feel like. The action seemed like it was good. It didn't seem like it was too like fake, like some things have been recently, too choreographed. But I don't know, the visuals I think look great in the trailers, like the scene in the trailer where Miss Marvel like goes up against the space station with Nick Fury. I'm excited for it.
I don't really see like they're talking like numbers projection under like 400 million. I just don't see that. I just don't see how Captain Marvel goes from being $1 billion movie. I understand fatigue is there. I understand that. I just don't get how that happens. So I would definitely say the over on that. I think it's probably going to end up doing just fine in the 600 to 700 range. It would be my guess, but we'll see. That would be an extremely optimistic take or a shill take if you asked the box office people, but we'll see, right? We also have the FNAF movie. It came out. I was going to see it when I was in Miami, but then I realized that I don't want to do that, so it didn't do that.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about watching it. I don't know if I will. It sounds like it's pretty...
I heard it's just really boring.
Yeah, I heard it's not very scary, and it's not very good, so... Maybe I'll check up with you guys next week, see if I watched the FNAF movie or not. Probably didn't. Yeah. We'll find out. But I do got some Who Am I's for you.
So you want me to give you a movie time?
Oh yeah. What's my movie for this week?
So this movie just came on Netflix. It was released this summer. It's called No Hard Feelings.
No Hard Feelings.
It's got Jennifer Lawrence in it. And Andrew Barth Feldman.
Is that the one with where she's like working with the parents? She's like the girlfriend.
Yeah. Did you see that already?
I didn't. I just my flight. It was for some reason it was like the on-flight movie, so it kept showing the trailer for it. I didn't watch it because I don't watch movies on a plane because I don't want to die. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to watching it. It looked pretty decent. I saw this one scene where they're on a beach like 18 times, so I'll look forward to that beach scene.
Hell yeah.
So I'll definitely watch that. We're coming up on the end, but before we let you guys go, we got a fun. If you've watched the show before, it is Who Am I? It is a nice little interview we do where Trent is interviewing a guest that he has no idea who they are, and I will be speaking for that guest as he tries to figure it out quickly. This time I have a easy, medium, and hard. We're going to start with the easy and work our way up, see how many you get out of the 3. So why don't you go ahead, hit me with some questions, Trent.
All right. Very nice to be speaking with you.
Nice to...
What genre do you work in?
I do all sorts of genres. I've done it all. Probably mostly know me from drama and action movies, though.
Okay. And what's like an actor or an actress that you've worked with?
Like I said, I've worked with a lot of them, but one that may resonate with you would be Elliot Page. They're really talented.
Okay. Um, and are these action movies? Are you like part of a team, or are you normally doing like these action roles by yourself?
I'm normally by myself. Yeah, I'm kind of by myself. Obviously, some people help me, but it's the me show most of the time.
I
Yeah.
got you. What what year would you say you had your big break?
I mean, probably going to be in the 90s. But like, most people are going to know me from the stuff in the early 2000s. But big break, I'd say in the 90s.
Um, do you have you ever worn an X on your chest?
I have not,
Okay.
at least not in the
It
context.
eliminates a bunch of. I was gonna guess Hugh Jackman,
Mm.
but um, let's see. What what famous director would you say is the most popular that you've worked with?
In terms of like name recognition, probably Sam Raimi.
Oh, okay. Um, what what color is your hair?
It's depends, but right now it's gray.
Okay. Are you J.K.
I
Simmons?
am J.K. Simmons. There you go. You got the easy one, Trent.
Nice.
I was gonna say I have a similar physique to Hugh Jackman. Now we are on to the medium. So you got one for one. What do you got for me here?
All right. So, are you a part of any franchises?
Yes.
Is it a superhero franchise?
Yeah, but that's probably not what you would know me best from. Although I have been
Okay.
in a pretty recent one, so.
Okay. What um do you normally do like bunch of ensemble casts, or do you normally work with ensemble casts, or are you like a very small project person?
It definitely would be more ensemble, for sure.
Okay. Um, do you have you ever have you ever produced a movie or financed a movie?
Like solely, not necessarily, but I.
But like you
Yes, yes.
may have a production company or something.
I, look, I hit my head and I just got my IMDb page here. So I don't
Okay,
know if I own one, but like I definitely got that like producer tag next to my name.
I
Yeah,
got you.
yeah.
Um, have you been making movies for 30 years?
Um, Close to it. Like I said, I hit my head.
Have you ever worked with Have you ever worked with Martin Scorsese?
I no.
No. Okay. Um, have you ever done a Have you ever done a musical or musical number?
A musical number, yeah, but not necessarily like a full musical.
Okay. Um, have you ever been in an animated movie?
Yes.
Is it like a pretty big animated
Yeah.
movie? Um, have you ever? Are you Tom Hanks?
No.
How did you start acting when you were young, like 15 to 30,
Yeah.
or were you like older?
Yeah. About that range.
Are you what's a director that you have worked with?
Uh, most people know me for my work with Wes Anderson.
So you're Owen Wilson.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. No. Most people do know him for his work with Wes Anderson. That's for sure.
They went to college
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. That one. I didn't know the director of Cars, so I made it tough. But all right.
And John Lasseter.
I don't know. I'm not looking. We'll never know. Well, well, someone get back to it next week with.
No, I think it's I think Pete Docter did Cars.
It might have been me. We'll find out next week. We're on to the last one. This one is hard.
Let's see. Have you ever claimed to do you do a lot of stunts
No,
in your movies?
no,
No.
not a chance.
Is that because you think too highly of yourself, or you've got too brittle of bones?
Definitely the brittle bones part. Yeah,
Okay.
all labor laws and all that. We got to be careful.
Okay. Have you acted in anything or were you in any movies in the 70s?
No,
No, okay. Are you known for known for being a dramatic actor?
no,
Known for being a comedy actor?
no,
Are you a sports person?
no.
Have you ever made a song?
No.
Have you ever been in a movie?
Yes.
Have you ever played yourself in anything?
Yes.
Okay. Is are you speaking to us from beyond the grave?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been in a Batman movie?
No.
So doesn't do dramas, doesn't do comedies, didn't act in the 70s.
No.
Do you appear in any franchises?
Yes.
Does that franchise have more than 9 movies.
Yes.
It's not Stan Lee.
No.
Is it let's see. Are you a famous director?
No. I'll give you a hint. You're way off.
Okay. I don't know how to get back on course though.
I'm not old.
You're not old,
No.
but you have brittle bones.
Yeah.
I don't know. Give up.
I'm 11 years old, Trent.
That era. What fucking 11-year-old do I know?
They were in a franchise with more than 9 movies. They played their self. Not in the franchise.
Nothing.
I am India Rose Hemsworth.
Oh. See, I would have never got that.
That's why it's the hard one. And I even prepped you by talking about it earlier in the show, Trent.
That's true.
I was like, hey,
I should have known.
interesting point for that. She's credited as Gore's daughter, so they didn't give her a name or anything. So maybe they're keeping it. Maybe it might be a Loki.
I think they're just left that open. Yeah.
Well, if she is revealed to be Loki or the next Loki, you heard it here first on the Variant Cast, where we cover all things movies, comics, media, just random stuff, a variety, if you will. And I've been Ty. Had a nice time talking with you all today, and you too, Trent. You got any parting words?
Nope. Had fun today. Go watch Invincible. Go watch Loki. Go watch Spontaneous.
Yeah. And
go watch our YouTube channel where we just uploaded a new clip.
yup, we got a pretty cool kind of map thing where we have, all the different like South Park in Colorado or Magic Mike in Florida or multitude of things. And we did a little battle royale. So if you want to see how your state did or just see how it all went down, I'll give you a hint. Arkansas did pretty good. So if you want to go ahead and watch that, that's on our YouTube channel. But thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys next time.
Peace.